Hello, I'm Isaac Wyatt, and this is a video that is a tech demo of my first ever successfully merged pull request to an open source project. Basically, I contributed to an open source tool called Task Manager that helps software developers who contribute to it keep the same development version of the Rust programming language in sync. So I'll give you more on that in just a moment, but a little bit of background. TaskWarrior is an open source task manager to-do app, but instead of having a user interface like in your web browser or your desktop application, TaskWarrior is used at the command line, at least right now. So I have a few tasks that I've loaded as an example in here, and I can add a task, add, conclude, and demo, and edit demo video. And this is for the project TaskWarrior. Done. And now I can look at my tasks, and there it is down there. So this is an open source tool. It has over 15,000 downloads on YouTube. I'm sorry, on GitHub, and it has I think 150-ish contributors and about 2,500 stars on GitHub. So if that's your type of thing, go check it out. But my contribution to this open source project was to help developers keep the development version of the software programming language they use in sync. This is written in the Rust programming language, and in Rust we want everyone to be using the same version of Rust for their development so that there's no software conflicts. As the versions of Rust change, sometimes the programs can behave differently, and when you have dozens or hundreds of contributors, you want everyone using the same tooling to support their development work. And so my program will update the minimum supported Rust version in various configuration files, in comments, across all specified files for TaskWarrior or any individual module within TaskWarrior. And the way that it works is over here at the command line, we might say xtask, update the minimum supported Rust version to 1.69. It'll run, it'll update these, and then when I check the Rust version in these files, we can see it's updated to 1.69, for example. There's some other ones in here, up here, maybe checks, and we see 1.69 here and 1.69 here. Now, without my contribution to this, developers would have to manually go through each of these files and update them and make sure that they're the exact same Rust version, which could be a time-consuming and error-prone process. And so my contribution, just to make sure that everyone just has this one command to run, and it'll update the version number that's being used. Pretty simple stuff, very, very sort of back-end contribution to TaskWarrior. But hopefully this helps keep all developers productive and keep them from creating bugs that show up to the end users of the product. There are some limitations to this. The way that the code works is each of the files that a developer would want to be updated has to be specified in the configuration of the file, and then some regular expressions that search for a particular text pattern need to be specified here as well. If a developer has the wrong environment variable set up, then the relative paths specified here may make some wrong assumptions. And then if the regex regular expressions specified are too loose and not exact enough, then a developer could mistakenly update other version numbers that are not part of the minimum supported Rust version. So there are some limitations to this. There are alternative solutions like the manual updates, and then Rust officially supports adding the minimum supported Rust version in the cargo.toml configuration file, but that doesn't necessarily cascade down to all subprojects. Additionally, it may not be automated, and so keeping everything in sync is a big part of this. If someone wanted to extend this work, they could potentially make it smarter and search all the files within the repo instead of the ones specified here, and maybe there's even some smarter regex to make sure that it doesn't have to be specifically specified as regex. But that is the nature of my first ever pull request that was merged into an open source project. It was a great learning experience. I'm Isaac Wyatt, and this is my first ever tech demo. Thank you.